Let's talk about economics. I know it sounds like this huge, intimidating subject, right? But what if I told you that the entire field, all of it, is really just trying to answer one single, very simple question?
Seriously, think about it. It's a question we've all asked ourselves. Why can't I have that amazing car, and the huge house, and go on vacation every single month? It's just a fundamental part of being human, and it's exactly where the story of economics begins. And the answer to that question, well, it isn't just some deep philosophical thought. It is the absolute heart of economics. It's the key that unlocks everything else we're going to talk about. Okay, so let's dive right in. Now, the concepts we're exploring today, they come straight from this primer on basic economics. We're going right to the source to really get a handle on these foundational ideas. So, it's time for our first formal definition. Let's figure out what this field of study is really all about. And it all comes down to two words: the science of scarcity. All right, so here's the official textbook definition from our source. First off, economics is a social science, which is just a fancy way of saying it's about people and the choices we make. It basically studies the entire life journey of stuff. From how things are made to how they get to us, and finally, how we use them. But back in 1935, a British economist named Lionel Robbins boiled it all down to something much simpler and I think way more powerful. He just called it the science of scarcity. And this right here is what cuts through all the noise. It directly answers our big question from the beginning. The reason we can't have everything we want, it's because things, whether it's time, money, or resources, are limited. They're scarce. And hey, while we're talking about the history here, it's worth knowing the name of the guy who's pretty much considered the founding father of it all, Adam Smith. Trust me, if you decide to learn more about this subject, you'll be seeing his name pop up a lot.
Okay, this next part is super important because it's a distinction where a ton of people get tripped up. There's a really big difference between the word economics and the phrase an economy. Let's clear that up right now.
So here's the easiest way to think about it. On the left, you have economics. That's the study. It's the academic field, the theories, the rules. It's basically the rule book for the game. But on the right, you have an economy. That's the system itself, in action. It's the actual game being played in a real place, like the US economy or the global economy. It's all the buying and selling and making that's happening right this second. So one is the theory, and the other is the real world. So now that we know we're studying this game of scarcity, how do economists actually go about it? Well, they basically have two main lenses they can look through. Two totally different ways of seeing the same picture. And a really great way to get this is to just imagine you're holding a camera with a zoom lens, right? You can zoom way in to get a super detailed close-up of one little thing, or you can zoom way out to see the entire landscape. And that brings us to the two main branches of economics. On one side, we have microeconomics. That's our zoom in. It focuses on the small stuff, the decisions of individual people or families or single companies. It's like studying one single tree in a massive forest. Then, on the other side, we have macroeconomics. That's our zoom out. It's looking at the big picture, the whole forest. It's about entire countries, government policies, unemployment, inflation, the whole shebang. Okay, so we've gone through a bunch of definitions. But so what? Why does any of this actually matter to you in your everyday life? Well, because getting a handle on these ideas isn't just for academics, it's kind of like unlocking a new superpower. And here's the bottom line. When you understand these basics, you start to make smarter choices with your own money. You can actually understand what's going on in the news when they talk about trade deals or interest rates. And maybe the coolest part is, you start to see these hidden forces all around you that are shaping your life, from the price of coffee to your career options. It is seriously empowering. So there you have it. That covers the absolute foundations of economics. We know it's the science of scarcity, and we know we can look at it zoomed in or zoomed out. So now I've got a final question for you. Knowing the difference between that single tree and the whole forest, what part of our economic world do you want to understand next?